6 months of probation. Keep
Like
it pushing.
he get found
like,
guilty of second degree murder. That come with like 15 years. They could still give him 5. Two. Like you feel me? They could say time served. Like
well, great,
all type of stuff.
Great segue for the emotional response, because that leads us to this controversial topic. It's very uncomfortable for me. So I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say, and then y'all could just rebuttal.
Okay.
With Makiah Bryant, rest in peace. First of all, to this young queen. As far as the emotional responding, I really fear like the decentralization of the things that we bring forth. If every single time something happens, we can't stop and go from a logical perspective before we decide to go in on certain things. And I think this situation was like a perfect case study for that exactly. Now, hours after the verdict for Chauvin, we heard about the Makiah Bryant situation, and of course, we, for the most part, this is how I am too. We're gonna go hard and we'll ask questions later. So at that moment, obviously I'm riding with her. I'm riding with that situation until I see something to show me otherwise. Because when we get into these systems, they look at us as guilty until proven innocent. So I look at them the same way.
Yeah, that's how
Exactly.
So that's how I approached it. Now, when I seen the video, it was just really hard for me to see an angle. Like, I know I see black people say like, oh, like you could have used a taser or so on and so forth. But I couldn't help but see like, y'all forgetting that's another black woman that she was fighting, whether she was grown, whatever, like, through, like, I know they're still investigating that case. Mm-hmm. So we probably don't know every single detail. But as far as what we know, they're saying that she was grown and Makiah was 16 years old. But even that being the case, a cop pulls up and he sees one woman with a knife in her hand, seemingly like she's about to strike another woman right at that point. And I'm not saying that he had to shoot her, but as far as like what I've seen, it's like I don't know why people aren't looking at it as if like he couldn't have been saving her life, because a strike to the face with a knife can be fatal, and even if it's not fatal, it can be life deteriorating. As far as like she has some crazy scar on her face the rest of her life, or she could be blind. Like we don't know what could transpire from that. So what my thing is with that is like I really would like to know like how people can look at that and the defense mode just went for her. Like again, the people bring up the like, oh, like they were coming to jump her, but when he's pulling up, he didn't see any of that. Right. He came up and he seen what he saw, what was a knife to the face. And if y'all want me to be real, the thing that disgusted me more than anything is for her to be 16 years old, all of those adults that were outside and didn't deviate that situation. If you see a cop pull up, the first thing you should do is run straight to your daughter.
Disarm her first and foremost.
And another thing that people aren't pointing out is while the police pulled up, the daddy's still kicking somebody in the head and like adding to the drama that's already going on instead of trying to deviate it. But then once she got shot, that was when all of a sudden he got her conscious again. Like, she's a girl and all that. But like you didn't go in defense mode. Yeah, when it comes to black people, we have to carry ourselves a certain way. It's kind of similar to like how women are, where they say like don't wear certain things like if you don't want to get raped. Like no, you don't want to victim shame. But the thing is like you also want to prevent. So you wanna just be in survival mode for that moment. Yeah. So if you in a certain area that you know is not the best of areas, you're not gonna wear something that's just super skimpy where you got savage.
We might want to change this. We might want to stay back on topic.
No, South Central, I'm not gonna walk through a blood neighborhood.
Right.
Fair.
Right.
Fair.
So
but impulse and having impulse control, it doesn't give nobody a right to snatch nobody.
That's not what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm just saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Like I said, let's get back to the point because I don't feel
that's a part of my point though, because
I don't think that's
what I'm saying is if you, it's like he said, like if you're not gonna go to a blood neighborhood wearing blue, does that mean he's supposed to kill you because you have blue on?
Nope.
No, but I'm not.
That's not legal to kill him because he has blue on. But you want to have prevention. That was my whole point of that. You're not gonna wear certain things around certain people because of prevention to survive another day. Yes, you still are gonna be vile against the people who are. We should definitely
expand on that another time, though. Like that.
Not if you're gonna try to leave my point.
Well,
as
I'm not
if
just gonna
I was
leave
saying
it.
That.
No, I'm just saying that sometimes that analogy cannot always work out. I hear what you're getting at. I hear your point of bringing it up, and I hear what you're saying. Okay. That's it. That's all. But I feel like that is a bigger conversation for another time.
Okay. Well, that was a part of like leading to the Makiah Bryant situation. Even though she was right, if they're quote unquote coming there to jump her, the adults that were there, I feel, were more responsible than her of removing her from that situation to save her life at that moment. Absolutely. Because that's the right thing to do at that moment, even if technically Makiah Bryant wasn't right. If there's a bunch of grown people trying to jump her, so that was basically what I was getting at with that point.
I hear it.
So that being said. What was like y'all take on the situation? Do y'all feel like it was justified
my take on it is similar to yours, and because it happened shortly after, or the news came out shortly after the verdict for Chauvin or whatever, and so my spirit is fuck the police. It's like we just got one seen guilty and he's killing another one. And so that was my spirit initially, and it was like I was on that. And so after I didn't even want to watch the video. Honestly, I was like, I don't want to watch another what's it called, smut film or whatever it's called, snuff film. Right. Like, I'm tired of it, but I finally watched it, and after watching it, I'm like, damn. This one is complicated. It's not like some.
It's not black and white.
It's not like Tamir Rice playing in the park, show up, shoot him real quick. I look at it and try to be as objective as I possibly can. It's like, all right, y'all out here fighting. She had a knife. That is what happened, and it looked like she was going for it. And as a police officer, like, we can debate. He could have de-escalated it different ways. Some people say he should have shot in the leg, use a taser, the whole nine. But it's like, this is one of the situations where we do have to, as a community, we have to take accountability. And it's still fuck the police.
And the adults are the ones that need to take accountability.
And then to even go deeper into it, from my understanding, she was like a foster child. She was like in a group home. The women that she were fighting were like they either used to live in that group home as well. So it's a lot of different dynamics at play in that moment, and not to mention she's a 16-year-old girl, so it's like we can't necessarily hold her accountable when there are adults instigating present and engaging her. There's a man there who's engaging with the women on that level, and so it's like, I don't, how I feel about the police. It's always like my general sentiment is fuck. My general sentiment is fuck the police. In this situation, though, it's like it's just fuck the police, but it's also it's just because it's fuck the police, it's like we can't move just however the fuck we want to move and engage however we want to engage, because it's like they're out here not giving a fuck about our life. Please don't give a fuck about our life. They're willing to kill us literally for walking through the store. So it's like, if somebody's calling the police, and from my understanding, Makiah was the one who called the police.
It was like her little sister or something.
Yeah, somebody called the police for her, not for her, but on her behalf.
On her behalf, yeah.
So it's like, we just, it's a fucked up situation. It's complicated, but in general, as a people, once again, we can't be so emotional. We have to weigh and measure all the factors and understand there is cause and effect in play, regardless of what we think should or should not happen. Cause and effect is something that it doesn't care about how we feel. It doesn't care about what's right or wrong. It just is what it is. So if the police are outside and I'm wielding a knife, they've killed black people for less.
Right.
And it's like, when the police pull up, it's like, I can't, and I just injecting myself into it. I just got out of jail for being emotional. You feel me? For an emotional situation that could have gone left. So it's like, when the police show up on the scene, you have to really say, do I want to give them more of a reason, or is there anything that I could do to kind of like de-escalate the situation and take more control over my life and everything?
And again, this isn't to Makiah. This is to the
this not to Makiah. This not to Makiah at all. This more so to the adults, and more so to the adults that it's like, what do you want to happen in that situation? Because we already know how the system is set up. Right. More than likely, that cop isn't going to. He's not going to go to trial. It's not even going to go to trial. He's probably not even going to get fired. If anything, I think he might get promoted off of that. So it's like, as black people, we just got to be more conscientious of how we move. Because like I said, like from the last podcast, I do feel like we are in some type of war or something like that. Right. And it's like, we do have to move a certain type of way. And we can't just be, our response can't be emotional every single time something happens. So situations like that, as adults, we have to protect the children. As men, we got to protect the women. So in situations like that, we got to step up and, stop it from happening. Like, especially as black men, we got to, if we see our women acting up, we got to get them together and say, look, go inside. Like, go inside. What, you got a knife? Look, the police is coming. Put the knife down. He's over there. If you're
her dad, you have the power to at least go to your daughter and
he over there rolling in the grass, fighting with the women is stupid. Like, out of everybody in that whole situation, I'm most upset at him.
100%. Yeah. That's where all my blame goes. Yeah. That's where all my blame goes. And if y'all wondering like why I'm so emotional about this, is because I actually seen some people going as far as to say like the reason people don't care, the reason people aren't being attentive to this or sensitive to Makiah is because it's a black woman that this happened to, versus a black man. But we were standing for George Floyd, and it's like I can't even count how many black women I done stood for. How, like, you can go down my Facebook profile pictures right now, and it was like mostly you'll see more black women that I had that had some type of police brutality situation that went left than black men. So it's just like the narrative running crazy, and all based on what you started with, which is emotion.
My reaction was similar to you guys, I'm sure, where what I first heard was 15, 16-year-old girl called the police to help her and got killed. Long story short. Right. Upon hearing that, it's like, damn, can't even try to call for help yourself. Because that's one thing where the people are like, oh, well, the police are there to help you. Like, can't get rid of all of them. Because, I mean, what are you going to do if you need somebody? I mean, get killed, apparently. Because we don't get that kind of luxury. Moving forward, I found out more about the situation. Not a good look. It's unfortunate. I agree with you guys as far as it's the parents' fault. Why did no adult feel the need to disarm a 16-year-old with a knife despite how big she is? Right. I mean, especially if you her parent. Y'all are willing to beat children for less with a whooping. Call it a whooping. Right. Like, so it's nothing to disarm somebody or get them down so you can... But I feel like that kind of feeds into the cultural thing that black people like to fight for fun. So they enjoy that shit. They enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching it, but part of the problem is that I don't agree with it. Like, that's not the overall problem, but for me, it's like I don't agree with that. Like, for me, fighting is a life or death situation, any situation. But in our culture, let's just catch a fade real quick. Despite what repercussions it may have, don't even think about the fact that you could punch somebody wrong and have them die right then and there, but you were just trying to catch a fade real quick over some dumb shit. Right. For them, they were sitting there watching a fight because, just fight it out. That's what us black people do, right? We just fight, do it. When they saw she had a knife, they should have stepped in, period. Even if you want to get down to, all right, well, fair fight, shit. No weapons involved.
Especially when you see a cop car pull up.
Especially when you see a cop car. At that point. I mean, like you guys said, a whole grown ass man is kicking people in the mix. There's even that, like that whole y'all just trying to be in the mix and tag team and quote unquote help who you're standing by. When it comes down to it, it's still, if she did not get killed, she would have got assault or battery or prison or jail time of some sort, because she still wouldn't have. She was still wrong. They were both wrong. They all should have gotten some type of charge in that sense, because that's what it is. I've been assaulted. I don't fight. I've never been in a fight in my life. I've been assaulted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's just not for fun. If I'm ever in a fight, best believe I'm breaking wrist. I'm cut. It's life or death. Survival of the fittest. Right. So the fact that they were in this state, they're doing shit for play. Even have weapons, because don't forget, like we play with guns and shit like it's not a fucking gun and can't end a life. We just be toting that shit around as if it's just the next handbag. Like, no. That shit or weapons that kill. Anything can kill if you want to get down to it, but that's not the conversation at hand. But these are actual weapons that are used for these intentions. So why wouldn't you step in? When the cop got caught, of course, I can objectively be like, yeah, still also goes down to stop being so quick to shoot to kill. However, in a high intensity situation, humans are humans. So they think at the same time, I can also be like, but cops are trained for this. So they need to not be so quick to be acting rash. Like I can look at so many different back and forths of it.
We've also seen the argument of like, there's been white people with weapons to charge at cops.
Right.
And that didn't happen. But my thing is like, okay, and they should have been shot.
Exactly.
That's what that means.
And that's another thing.
Like, you allow somebody to stab somebody else in the face potentially, and again, we don't know if that's exactly what was going to happen, but based on that video, at the time that he shot, there was literally a knife in the air, like inches away from her face, and we don't know where that would have went.
And I've watched a couple debates on this, as far as people pro the police side of it, where it's like, well, a taser, from where he was standing, a taser wouldn't have been as effective. She had coats on. Fair. If it was a rubber bullet, wouldn't have hit a certain area, or whatever it may be. Okay, yeah, you could also shot her hand. A hand injury is a hand injury, but it's not your life.
That's a cold aim, though.
Exactly. And I think about that, too. Like, wait, it's not a video game, and it's not a Western movie. So you don't got that type of aim like that. You're not going to be able to just shoot the knife out of her hand. I get that. That's fair. It's unfortunate that she lost her life. It's an unfortunate situation that she tried to call for help, and it worked against her. However, of course, she is still a minor. It all goes down to the adults around her, period. And the adults around her should not have been on some Fight Club shit. They should have been on some, all right, well, even if we're going to throw a couple blows, let's not involve weapons. Any parent of hers, any guardian of hers, anybody who's cool with her, had the ability and the jurisdiction to disarm her.
Period.
Without it doesn't fucking matter if you would have put yourself in risk. It don't matter. That's your people, right? Protect your people. Now, even if she was not to die, she can go to jail and prison for attempted murder if this person gets cut the fuck up and disfigured, period. When it comes down to it, we need to stop normalizing and being okay with fighting one. That's something that's not just going to be undone in a year or 8. So that's something as a culture, and I'm a part of the problem. I like watching the fight videos and shit too. We love violence. That's human shit. Mm-hmm. However, as that being good, we need to get boundaries with the shit, period. Boundaries, if nothing else, boundaries.
And I think we also need to realize that, like, when it comes to situations, everybody can share blame in a situation. Mm-hmm. It's not like one person is 100% wrong in the situation. It's like we can, there's parts where I fucked up, there's parts where they fucked up, there's parts where they fucked up, and it's like I do have to be accountable. So in this situation, it's like, yeah, fuck the police, right?
But everybody's accountable, right?
Yeah, he could have did it differently, but y'all also could have not instigated the situation.
And we haven't even mentioned the people who was jumping her. Like that's because we don't even know the shit about that. That's their business. Exactly. But when it comes down to it, All of that could have been avoided.
Right, and that's pretty.
And when it comes down
and that
to
was my
it,
only point
it
right
could
there
have.
of
And
what
I hear
was
you.
saying was
And like I said, I
avoidance.
hear you.
That was all I was saying.
And for me, I got a little sensitive and touchy because I've been a person who was a victim shamer at some point or another. And being a woman, yeah, it's possible. Like I used to be on that same wave of like, but what weren't you doing that you needed to be doing, or what were you wearing? And then I got a lot more insight from sexual assault victims and people who have been through those type of things, and it definitely gives a different perspective. Also, being somebody who has danced, who likes to be as free as I want when I want to be, I don't feel that puts me. That makes it okay. And I know that you weren't saying that it's okay. You're just saying being preventative. Sure.
Yeah, like my first, if a woman comes to me and says I got raped, my first thought process isn't gonna be, oh, what were you wearing? What were you doing?
And you'd be surprised how many people are.
My first thought is gonna be, damn, what piece of spit did this to you?
And unfortunately, that's the only reason I made that distinction is because that is a common thing. People can't even go to the police
I didn't
because
want
it's
that
like
stench on me
no,
because
and
that wasn't what I was saying.
I feel you.
was
And
just
my
saying,
fault for making it feel like that was the case.
In the future,
but
you would talk to somebody about like, this is what we can do to try to prevent this, because there are sick people out there who don't care about the legality of things. Sure. Murder is illegal, but homicides happen every day.
And to even go with your point, if I was to, like I said, go with your point completely, for example, if a woman was to be wear whatever she wants to wear, but she's in a place where prostitutes are known and she gets solicited or pulled up on by somebody's pimp or whatever, get mistaken by somebody, it's all circumstantial. I get that. I definitely get that. I just, like I said, it got a little touchy for me because I've had to shift that myself. And that's something that being free and a woman, people love policing what we do. Whether it's what we wear, whether it's how we act, whatever. Right. It's like, it never ends. And being somebody that has danced and, done things like that, it's like, yeah, people are quick to be like, oh, well, don't have 6-inch heels and don't like, wait. So don't act myself or do what I want to do as a human. The free will that we have, the little bit of free will we got. Don't do that. Because other people don't got impulse control. And other people think it's okay to just snatch you up off the street and shit like that. But I wasn't trying to make it seem like you follow those views or nothing. So sorry for that miscommunication.
But we all agree Makiah Bryant's parents are the ones that failed her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
More so than anybody else.
All the adults there failed her.
Every single solitary adult.
This is probably one of the few times that the cop isn't completely at fault. Like one of the few.
And that's all I'm saying is we have to be careful of just putting anything. You can't put that with George Floyd. You can't put that with Trayvon Martin.
Or Dante Wright or none of that.
That's just like a tragic situation. And if there is somebody to blame for that, it's a much broader conversation than just what took place at that moment.
That was probably one of the more complex viral deaths that came up, where it's like people, because of the wave that we're on, everybody wants to blame the cops and stuff, but realistically,
it's an easy target and understandably so.
Absolutely, with things being how they are today.
Like I said, we guilty until proven innocent for them. Same way they do us.
And I feel like this was a good example, if nothing else, a good learning lesson for everything circumstantial. And look at the details and the circumstances, because it's not all black and white. It's not all clear cut and A, B, and C. Like, it's not all that every time. Sometimes when it's full blown, we're watching this man stand on somebody's neck for 9 minutes. That's different. Right. Completely different. There's not many circumstantial shit you can wiggle your way out of.
That's something else. It's like every situation is different. There's different dynamics in play. So I do hate when like the narrative is like, oh, because she's black or because she's a black woman, y'all not stepping up. It's like, it's not the same.
Young black,
not the same thing.
Regardless,
I can't tell y'all how much money and how much time I've invested into Sandra Bland's case, even up until this day when people aren't even talking about it anymore. I can't. Y'all just seen how long I had Breonna Taylor on my spit, since that situation happened. Like, it has nothing to do with that. It's just we're not just gonna just gonna do that just because you try to guilt trip us into doing it, and so we're just gonna ignore all the details and the facts of the situation. If anything, we're blaming another black man for the situation.
It don't that, we obviously don't know what would have happened, but you got a knife, you swinging it, another black woman would have got hurt.
That was my thing too. Like, so what about? And even though they was fighting with whatever, like, it don't necessarily mean somebody deserved to die.
And that's the thing. Like, nobody had to die. But moving forward, or even before that, nobody had to. It didn't have to get to that point. If there was no knife involved, to an extent, there should have been no reason.
Be on that side.
It will be no reason to have the police called.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, if there was no knife involved, there will be no reason to have the police called because they just fighting, right? They just duking it out. They just doing what they got to do. But she felt like her life was, or her sister or whatever,
right. And we'll learn more about that.
And we'll learn as it comes out more. But when it comes down to it, I think that's where a lot of opposition will say, like, oh, black on black crime. Like, no, I mean, we understand that shit happens, but we also understand that black people be wrong too. Like, that's what it comes down to. Black people be wrong too.
That's a whole
and that's okay.
Conversation. Like, there's accountability in our community.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. But we'll say that for another day.
But when it comes down to it, humans were threatening humans' lives. Humans did not try to help other humans not be life-threatening to other humans. Like, humans fucked up. Situation. Humans fucked up and a human died. And I'm sorry to say it so cold like that, but objectively speaking, that's what happened. And rest in peace, Makiah Bryant.
Rest in peace. 100%.